Welcome back. Thank you very much. So how you guys doing? You guys have a good break? I
Good.
believe so. If you have a good break time, so now we're gonna time to go right into the haircut now. So as we spoke this morning, and I want to know what question do you have? We talk about the graduation. We talk about the principle. What is a principle? Somebody can tell me that? Yes, principle, it means the law. It's timeless. It will never change. Now, as we move on, we're gonna need to try to do the section first. A 6-panel bulb, of course, as it is called 6-panel, that means we're gonna section out as a 6-panel. How are we gonna section the head to a 6-panel? And will anybody play basketball? Yeah. It will just look like a basketball, and to make it divided as like a pizza shaped line, and to get that done. The first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna need to divide the hair in this, like this. 4 quadrant. 1, 2, 3, 4 quadrant only. This is the first thing that we need to do, all right? The way that we're gonna do it is we're gonna need to find the true center part. In here, I'm gonna ask you a big favor for me, is you're gonna become my mirror, okay? So if the hair is not sectioned correctly or properly, so you're gonna give me the heads up. Sounds good? Thank you very much. Let me just double check. It looks pretty decent center part. Do you agree? Yes, thank you very much. And once we got that done, we're gonna just section it out all the way to the bottom. Now we're gonna section it out left and right. From here, I'm gonna section out to find the front part. That means the front quadrant. The front quadrant, the one that I'm talking about right now, it is called the right front quadrant. All right? How we're gonna find the right front quadrant is, before we do anything, we need to measure the head of the high point. Remember what I told you about a little earlier about the principle? We need to find the high point of the head is by placing the comb on the top of her head. Once that I place the comb on the top of her head, that means I found that the flat point, that will be her high point. Do you agree? Thank you very much. Once that I got this, and I'm gonna just go ahead to point it out, and from that high point, I straight down to her ear, on top of her ear. Once I got this section out, I'm gonna just twist it out and clip it away. Everybody see that? Thank you very much. Now, the next one that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do her left front quadrant. Same way, I'm gonna straight down to her ear. And after that, I'm going to clip it away so then it won't bother me to work on her back. Now, once that I'm done this right front quadrant, left front quadrant, now I'm going to work on her back quadrant. The back quadrant is going to be just left and right here. However, we need to find the what? We need to find the quarter panel of become her quarterback. So how we're going to get the quarterback is it's very simple. All you need to do, just look at the back of her head. You're placing the comb in 45-degree diagonal right here, flat point, that will become her cornerback. Is that good? Everybody have any question for me? You good? Okay, awesome. Now we're gonna move on. The first, it doesn't matter you do the left first or the right first. Either way, it works the same. All right? I'm gonna placing my comb on her back. So I find my flat point from that flat point, and then I will draw out from the top of her high point all the way back. And I comb it out. I twist it over. And I'm going to just put the clip to secure it. Voila. And the next one, then I'm going to do the same thing. By the way, how many of you that you heard about when we do this 6-panel quadrum, every single section it has some number? Yes, thank you. Yes, the reason of that is because every single professional, we have our professional language. So that means when I'm trying to talk to stylist A, then I'm gonna just tell her, I need to cut the panel 3 to diagonal 45-degree, no elevation in bob shape. So that means is what? That means it's gonna be right here. You see this picture right here? This is a section is called panel number 3. So that we both know exactly the same where I'm gonna cut it, how I'm gonna cut it, so that you can duplicate or you can discuss with your fellow hairdresser easier. Does that make sense to you? Thank you for that. All right. So now, once that I got that section out, I'm gonna just go ahead to clip it out so that it won't in my way. Just like this. The other two right here, they're gonna do exactly the same. Let's recap how I'm gonna do it. First, placing a comb in the corner, find the flat point, and from the high point, draw the straight line down all the way to her neck, and from there I'm gonna just go ahead to comb it out, section it out, and that will be my panel. Okay? By the way, this panel is called panel number 4 because it's right on her right back quadrant. All right? Everybody cool? Thank you. Do you have any question for me? Concern? No? All right, cool. Now the next one that we're gonna do is we're gonna start to do the haircut. When we start to do the haircut, is the first thing to do is you need to have your hair smooth, easy, and also lay in the exact same position that you want to cut. So the first run that you're gonna get, I'm gonna cut the panel number 4. I clip that away, and of course, when you cut it, make sure that the hair is combed down. Now, to comb the hair down is of course that you can just using the fine teeth or wide teeth, whichever that you prefer. However, I will highly recommend this is you will using the fine teeth to smooth out the hair, and then you're gonna using the wide teeth again to recomb it. Why? Because the less tension that you put in, the less that accident that you make. Make sense to you? Cool, thank you. Now, when I first do cut it, I'm gonna cut it like this. I'm gonna cut it right here because this is the length for the most of the bob, right? And I'm gonna just go ahead to get my shear. See that? Once that I got this, I'm gonna just move on to the next one to make sure I can connect the dot. That will give me a little bit more easier to cut. Now I'm gonna comb it out. Once that I comb it out, then I'm gonna switch to wide teeth. Now I'm going to step back a little bit, so make sure that both is just like the same length. Once I've done this, I'm going to move on to the next section. When I move on to the next section, and of course, I will hide it with command. Don't forget, just to sprinkle a little bit more of that 1 Unite 25. And after this, I'm going to move on to my next section. And I'm continue to work up. Because up here I got more hair, so I can just go ahead to take 2 sections down at the same time and go ahead to sprinkle a little bit of the 1 Unite 25. Same thing, I will just go ahead to get on the panel number 4. And then I move on to the panel number 3. Everybody see it? You see how straight the line it is? Are you cool? Yes? Everybody see it? Do you have any question for me? No? All right, cool. Thank you. Now I move on to my top of the panel number 3 and number 4. Some of you might have a little question. Why do we have to cut the bob like this, 6-panel bob? And I'm going to ask you a very simple question. If I pull this all the way to this side after I cut it, what happened? That means I am over direct this section, and I cut this. Once that I drop it, that's going to be too long. That's what happened. Now, if I put this to the other side, I just over direct a little bit, not that much, and then I cut it. So I'm not only to create a little bit length in the center, I'm also create a little bit hole on the panel number 2, on the panel number 5. Does that make sense to you? So that's why it's just so important that we need to cut the hair where it should live. Make sense to you? Awesome, thank you. Now once I got that done, then I'm going to just go ahead and comb it down. Do the same thing. Same thing, just follow the line, connect the dot. See that? See how straight the line it is? You see the hair is automatic go under for you. You don't even need to do any kind of effort to try to do the blow dry. Does that make sense to you? Cool, awesome. Now I'm gonna go ahead to do the panel number what? Go to the panel number 3 first. And panel number 4, so that means the number, it will be number 2 on her left, number 5 on her right. Does that make sense? So far so good? Awesome. I'm gonna get the first section and I'm gonna take this out a little bit away, so that means I will get that exactly the same length on the bottom. Why? Because every layer as you work up and the layer length is going to be a little bit different. So if you don't follow the exact same angle of the bottom layer, then you're going to end up either too long, too short, or going to become an angle. Does that make sense to you? So now I'm going to just go ahead to using the 1 Unite 25 again. Sprinkle a little bit. You don't need to put a lot. And we move on. As I work up, I also change the hair as well. Everybody see it? You see that one length? You see that bob? It kind of like a forming the shape for you already. And I move on. Once I walk up to here, about time to sprinkle a little bit more of the 1 Unite 25. There you go. Everybody can see it. Now I'm going to turn my mannequin head to this side, so make sure that the whole room, everybody can see it. Now I move on. Why I don't do that any more product on the top layer? My personal reference is I put too much on the top and possibly going to weight everything down, because the bottom's already captured the product. The 1 Unite 25, if I have too much, it's going to make it a little bit too hot for me to blow dry. Does that make sense? See that? Because that's exactly where the hair lifts, so that's why the hair will just automatically go under for you. Now I'm going to work on the other side. Same thing. I'm going to keep up the hair and make sure I got some hair on the prerequisite section. course. 1 Unite 25. Sprinkle a little bit. I'm gonna make sure that I've got the hair. It will be there. Same length. Make sure that it's the same length, and now I work my way up and a little bit of the side, the previous section. And by the way, how many of you are using the Samvia shear and Samvia tool? Oh, thank you very much. Thank you, thank you. Yes, I mean, I love it, and I like it. It's not because Sam is my friend. I like it. It's just because of it's really, really good quality. I mean, I have this pair of shear for like what? I mean, more than 3 years already, and I'm using it every day. It's still sharp and cut like butter. Okay, so I think that means something, right? And now we're gonna just sprinkle a little bit of the 1 Unite 25. And I work on my last subsection. I just need to comb everything down. I'll make sure I got every single strand of the hair with the fine teeth, and I move on to my wide teeth so that will lose the tension. I'm going to just double check, make sure that is a good length together. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. Make sure that's a good length together, because if you don't find out that this is something you need to fix for now, and she come back to tell you to fix something, it doesn't look good, right? Yeah, I think so. What's that? Oh my God. Okay, so now, everybody see that? Do you have any question for me? Everybody good? Okay, cool. Now, we're gonna work on the panel in the front. You can do the left front or right front, either way. Or you can do right front one section, left front another subsection to try to catch up. It's all up to you, okay? So I'm going to just do it like this to try to show you that how important to make sure that you can connect the dot with the 6-panel bob is because that I'm really connecting the dot. I'm not just in cutting it, because if I just cutting it, that means I could be left side, right side too short or too long or in angle. It's not in a straight line, all right? Believe me. Even today, there's so many new style up there. It still has a lot of women. They want to get exact same one length bob. It's that simple, all right? So if you can make sure to make your client happy about what they get, about the one length bob, I guess that you will have the client for your life, okay? Same way, everybody can see it. I'm going to turn it a little bit to this way. Make sure that everybody can see. Now, once I got this side, because of course we are hairdresser. Hairdresser don't like to work in the mystery environment. So that means I like to see, I like to make sure that I can achieve the exact one lane cut. So then I like to turn my client to the other side. Everybody can see it? Yes? Cool. So then I make sure I got an exact same length. So of course, don't forget, 1 unite 25, sprinkle a little bit, and that's all you need. You don't need a lot. Make sure the length both sides is correct. Wow, it's like I have a measure. I have a level check in here. Look at this. Look at this level right here. Right? Man, this is awesome. So everybody can see that. All right. So now the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to just go ahead to cut my top. Since because I already got the length. I already got connect the dot. That means the front quadrant, you can go ahead and pull the whole thing down to cut it. You don't need to do that many subsection. That is a cool thing about a 6-panel bob. 6-panel bob is not only to make sure that you got a one length, it's also that you don't need to make like 1,000 subsection to cut your hair, and you can break it down to 2-3 subsection to cut it. As long as your client believe in you. That's all. Does that make sense? Cool? Awesome. Question? Concern? Everybody good? All right, cool. Now, before you do the last subsection, of course, you're going to need to sprinkle a little bit of that 1 unite 25. I'm using my fine teeth. I change to my wide teeth. Right. After that, I change my client to this side, so make sure that this side of the room can see it. I'm using my fine teeth to comb it first.